Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order and adopt the agenda. Be it resolved that the meeting be called to order and that the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Patkam moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any questions? Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Going to go down to number 3. We're going to have an addendum to the agenda. Be it resolved that council accept the following additions to the agenda. Add item 13, Councilor Patakan's October report. Could I have a mover for it, please?
I'll move it.
Councilor Shetty moves it. Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any questions, comments? None? Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Carried.
Thank you.
Also, just a reminder that this Saturday is the Remembrance Day service at the Access Center. It starts at 10:30 a.m. It is going to be a well-planned out service, and we're going to have our counselor with his cadets there this weekend, so it'll be an exciting thing to see. So thank you for bringing them. We're going down now to 5.1. We're going to, for our public hearing, be it resolved that this meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 96A of the Planning Act. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Campbell moves. Can I have a second? Councilor Bichetti seconds. Any questions, comments? None? Carried. So now we are in the public hearing. Can I have the planner speak to this, please?
Good evening, council members. Good evening, everybody. So the first item tonight is the variance application BO 123 2023. The location is 8 3rd Street, road number 400 564. The intent of this application is to reduce the minimum required site area for the proposed lots 1 and 2 in the M2 Heavy Industrial Zone. This is part of the conditionally approved subdivision S212912. This is the variance request table. It shows what the subject site is zoned and what the minimum lot area is in that zone, which is 1.377, and what the applicant is proposing for lots 1 and 2. This is the location map, shows the subject site and the surrounding area. And this is the subdivision application map submitted to RRPD by the applicant, showing the 2 lots being created. For council's consideration, the amended subdivision application S212912 was approved by both the West St. Paul Council and the Red River Planning District Board. The approval of this variance application will ensure zoning bylaw compliance, as the proposed site area did not comply with the West St. Paul zoning bylaw for the M2 Heavy Industrial Zone. A similar variance application under VO 36/2023 was approved by Council on June 8, 2023, prior to the subdivision application being amended. RRPD is recommending 3 conditions should Council wishes to approve this application. One of them is that the variance be limited to what is being proposed in this application, and that any changes will require a new variance application. 2, that the applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the RM of West St. Paul. 3, applicant owner enter into a development agreement with the RM of West St. Paul to address servicing if required, or alternative arrangements made to the satisfaction of the municipality. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. Does council have any questions for the planner? Councilor Patka?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the planner. Is there any significant difference, material differences between our council decision on June of the earlier this year and this particular application?
Yes. So in the one in June, the applicant, the proposed lots were 0.93 for lot 1 and 0.85 for lot 2.
Okay.
So through the amendment, so the applicant made changes to the proposed lots, and lot 1 now is 0.95 and lot 2 is 0.83. So that is why it's coming back to council.
I see. Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Councilor Bichetti?
So is this more of a change that happened, or is this just something that happened in the building of the building that now it's gone, they've remeasured everything and they were out on something, or?
So according to the applicant, he needs to meet the landscape requirement, and through that process, the building needs to kind of move a little bit, I think 5 feet to the east, and to make way for fire lane access too. So in that process, the building kind of moved a little bit.
Any other questions? So is this building still has been built, or has been built?
It's currently being built, and through that process, I think the applicant did some more alignment, and that is when he discovered that there is a shift in the lot line.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead, Councilman.
this is the building that's like, it's 95% done. It was actually broken into last night in a bunch of, the one tenant had already started bringing in product, and a whole bunch of product was stolen out of the building last night also. So,
So I'm just trying to, so this was the one where they had to make sure that the property line is in the center of the building?
Exactly.
And now that's what, is that what they're doing with this one? That's
So-
basically what I understand?
Yeah, that is why it's coming back now. The
Okay.
zero lot line has been approved by council. The reason why the other one is not coming back to council is because it's basically the same thing. So that one will not come back to council. The zero lot line.
Oh, say that again?
Remember, the zero lot line
Yep.
came to council too because it was more like you shine a party wall. So the variance for having a zero lot line will not come back to council because it's the same application. The reason why this is coming back is because there are slight changes in the numbers. 0.93 to 0.95 and 0.85 to 0.83. And that is why this one is coming back.
Yeah, but they had to, okay, so my understanding is that the lot line had to move to the center of the building, which is going to change the lot size. Is that basically what's happening?
Excellent, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Is there any, is the applicant here? Does he need to speak to this, or? No? Are there any people registered for that? Any people opposed against the application? Or?
No one registered in support. Eleanor Link, it looks like against?
Yep, opposed
Opposed, yeah.
and for information both.
Okay.
Okay.
Should-
Do you want to speak us about it? By all means.
Eleanor Link, 1045 Toshak Road. For the planner, first, are you aware that the amended subdivision approved by council with conditions 1A to E and 2, are you aware that Red River Planning District added 3 more conditions prior to approving the application? I think that should have been indicated because I think it's significant. That's the first question. I think it's still unclear about when the date the permit for the building was granted. And even if it's been granted, if you look at the conditions that Red River Planning imposed on the subdivision amendment recently. And I'd want to know if the planner was aware that the building process had begun prior to the attempts to obtain a permit for the building at 3rd Street. And I'm asking, is that acceptable? Now, in the planner's report for August 1st, which is still applicable to tonight, it stated that at least one of the proposed lots would have access to Eames Road. And it's connected to conditions about the city of Winnipeg needing to give a permit for those accesses and to provide this RM with proof that that permit has been obtained. Mr. Planner, are you aware that the maps of the property at 8 3rd Street on the RRPD property information site show no access off Eames Road onto the property at 8 3rd Street? The subdivision application maps up there show no access to the lots from Eames Road. I think that's part of what should be on a subdivision application map. Google Maps show no access off of Eames Road to the property at 8 3rd Street. And there's 2 culverts in the, joining Eames Road now, or 2 culverts in the ditch area, which means 2 accesses. So I wonder how this is going to affect this subdivision. I had questions for the applicant, but unfortunately, he's not here again. This is the third or fourth time when the applicant isn't here.
Yeah.
So, questions for the council. The clear and consistent message by Red River Planning District planners to council to not approve the subdivision way back in December the 21st, 2 years ago, at least, and not to approve the subdivision amendment in August, just this past August. And that same reasons were quoted. It had to do with the Planning Act, and not, the Planning Act wasn't approving of the fact that density would be affected, greater density to a zoning. That was the big opposition to this. The clear and consistent message from Red River Planning District planners to heed the Planning Act concerns around increased density and change of land use made possible by that change of density. This, I have heard that, oh, this doesn't make a precedent, but it certainly does make a precedent. And comparatively minimal conditions required by council, in contrast to those required by the planning district for the subdivision and the subdivision amendment. And the apparent lack of knowledge of information contained in the planner's memo that appeared in the Red River Planning District Board's agenda in December 2021, a very important memo, which resulted in the condition about the alignment of the property wall with the subdivision lot line being added by Red River Planning District. And also the concessions this council has shown to the applicant owner by adjourning public hearings for the variation 3623, which allowed opportunity for building progress, which may not have had a permit even, to continue for months. And 95% finished, I hear, tonight. Do you see, I wonder, this is the question, the extraordinary level of accommodation given to this applicant owner? And I'm wondering what you think is the impression given by this council and even the previous council's actions regarding this applicant owner. That last question, or the questions, are rhetoric to council. Thank you. But council, I'd like to hear from the planner.
Can you?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make one comment and respond to one of Ms. Link's questions.
Go ahead,
So
Councilor.
and I am well aware of this, any culverts that go in on Eames Road do have to get approval from the city to be able to even get a culvert permit from Red River Planning. And the drawing that is up shows no access on either street. So it's not that it's just missing. How, if you look at that drawing, how are they supposed to get there? Jump to the road? It's just not there yet.
Okay, so you agree with me that the subdivision application map should show the approaches?
No, I didn't-
Actually,
I
if you
didn't
look
say
on
that
the
I agree
Google
with you.
Maps, you will see that there is a bit of an access from Third.
There is, yeah.
Yes.
There is.
Mhm.
I've driven by it and seen it, for sure.
It's not indicated there.
But neither is indicated. I'm not saying that it should be. I'm just saying neither is indicated there.
Well, perhaps the planner would comment on what is required to be shown on subdivision application maps.
We'll let
That's a
the,
question for the
to-
planner.
we'll let the
Yep.
planner answer your questions.
First I want to comment on,
Oh, sorry.
I want to comment on the issue of what is before council tonight. This is not a subdivision application. This is a variance
Yeah,
that
another one.
this is a variance application that's a fallout of a subdivision that has been approved by council, that has been approved by RRPD board, and the applicant is in the process of meeting all the conditions listed as part of the approval, and that is why this is coming before council. So for a typical subdivision application map, this is how it shows. It basically shows what the applicant is, the intent in terms of how many lots are you creating. You're creating 2 lots, you're creating 4. It doesn't show access, but it shows that you have access to a particular road, Eames Road and 8th Street. So that is how typical subdivision applications are drawn by a surveyor. And in terms of having access, so it's part of the condition that the applicant will need to take a permit from the city of Winnipeg, and we need to show a permit from West St. Paul that access is going to be taken from either 8th Street or Ames Road to either of the 2 properties. So that is how it's been written. And without that, the subdivision application can't move forward without those 2 accesses, because RRPD or from other subdivision that I've seen in the past, you can't create a landlocked parcel without having access to what is called an improved road. So what is before council tonight is just a variance application for reduced lot areas, which is coming from a subdivision that has been approved. Thank you.
Well, I did have, can I respond to that?
It's not really, it's just, she's made the presentation, so he's responding to the.
Yeah, I did have a couple more comments that I have written down here. So one thing that you kept on saying is that this property had no permits, started without permits. Do you have proof of that? Because I find it, Red River Planning is usually pretty strict about what you can and can't do. And, I'm sure they had given him, the permits were in progress if they did start, but I would find that very strange. So then my second comment is, there's nothing nefarious going on here, right? You would want us as a council, for a building that's almost completed, for us to shut him down is what it sounds like you would like us to do here. And then, this gentleman or this company that's put out hundreds of thousands of dollars, just shut it down, right? Basically?
No,
Oh, okay.
I want reflection on the whole process that's gone on. And it's always easier to get permission or not to do it and get forgiveness rather than permission. You yourself, I think if we look at the first meeting that this variation came, you yourself made a statement that that building was well underway. And
Okay,
the
but this-
variation's coming.
This had already come last council though,
Oh, yes, it had.
so, for approvals, so.
Yes, it did. For the subdivision, yes, no argument there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask the planner one question here. So I guess from the start of this project, there were a number of different conditions that had to be met.
Yes.
So have they, this is the last condition that has to be met, all the other ones have already been met?
So I wouldn't know where the applicant is, but this is one of the conditions that needs to be met for the subdivision to actually, for the site to be registered and for the two lots to be created. So without that, he can't do that.
No, so is he gonna be coming back for some more variances or not?
No, this is part of the conditions.
Okay,
So like when you have a typical subdivision application,
Yeah.
you have a condition more like easement from hydro, the RM requirements in terms of paying of levies and things like that. So all these conditions needs to be met before you can even approach the Winnipeg Land Title Office for registration.
okay,
So this is one of those conditions where you need to apply for a variance to say that I'm having reduced lot areas. Instead of 1.377, I'm having 0.95, I'm having 0.83. That is what is before council tonight. The subdivision was approved, although Red Planning or recommended rejection even under the previous council, but it was approved.
Yeah.
The amendment came, it was approved again. So this is more like the applicant trying to meet one of the conditions for approval and to have his site registered with the Winnipeg Land Title Office.
okay. Go ahead, Councilor Bichetti.
Okay, this is going all over the place, but this is basically coming to us because they went to finalize this final condition, and they went and measured and things were off. Basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
And at this point, everything's up, so we're just asking if we're good with, the building's up. There was a mistake done, I guess, on the surveying or whatever it was, and we're here to approve that. Everything else has been permitted and gone through all the different steps. So we're sitting here saying the same thing.
No, that's fine. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Any other, one registered?
No one else registered against. For information is Jerry Belenky.
Jerry Belenky, 354 Garview. I have a real problem with this. And I understand this building is erected, but when this I think it was in July or June, it had no permits yet, and they were building this thing, they were putting in the foundation, and they were going to beat the heck. But anyhow, it's here now. We have a situation where we have small properties. We're gonna have semi-trailers loading and unloading there because it's an M2 building. We're gonna have 3 accesses, 3 culverts are gonna go in on this Ames Road. What are you talking about now?
2.
There's 2 now. Well, how about the other doors? Where are they gonna go? If the pit is done, how are they gonna come through the side?
I don't believe they're putting it over.
Well, it's dug already.
Continue on.
Okay, so you're gonna have 3 roads that aren't long enough, the distance between the loading docks and if a semi-trailer is loaded, trucks are gonna be on the street. Okay, so it's 3.
Yeah.
1 to the front. We had that discussion before,
Yeah.
where the applicant says he's gonna have to drop the trailers. This is not gonna happen. Lots of traffic, lots of truck traffic on Ames Road. If those trucks are sticking out, it's gonna be difficult for 2 trucks to pass. The road isn't wide enough for that. It's not a 3-lane road, it's 2 lanes. It's a pretty wide road, not with trucks going in. Because when they were doing construction, and they had vehicles parked along that road, vehicles passing each other, we're having a problem. So, we have a safety issue coming. There's no parking. I mean, industrial buildings, we took away the easements from the back of the building and from the front of the building because we joined the buildings. So the easements are gone, so we lost that parking space. Where are the people gonna park? On the street? This is like, I mean, we're creating this. And they say, well, it's built, you can't do nothing about it. Well, you can do something about it, you can make it one building. Okay, I don't understand it. I don't know, these permits for those culverts have to be from the city of Winnipeg. Have they been issued?
Just ask questions and they'll answer them all at once.
Okay, have the permits been issued? I mean, we have a thing here where we do it, and and then we come in here and we say, you have to give me my way because it's built already. And that's not the right thing. And I'm sorry, the building is there, and this was right from the very beginning. There was an issue with it, and the council is trying to appease them, but it just seems the more you give, the more they're taking. It's not right. It's not right for everybody who had to follow. The councilor said he's operating a business, he's loading and he's taking stuff out of it. Do we have an occupancy permit?
I never said that, actually.
Well, that's what you said, they're opening these.
I never said they were open. I said there was items in the
So-
building.
so
And
stuff.
No, I never said that.
Okay.
And let's go back on camera.
I
never
guess
said
we'll
that
have
at
to,
all.
Okay.
but that's
Well,
whatever.
just-
Perfectly clear.
Okay, I'll do it to you, I don't care.
Well, just ask,
But-
ask questions, please.
Okay,
Okay. You want to know about occupancy permit, trailers, parking, is there anything else?
yeah, I wanna know whether and whether the issues for the culverts and occupancy permit. And I really don't, like, these are two large buildings, they're gonna have people working there. Everybody comes, most people come to work with cars or trucks. And they're gonna be parked on Ames Road.
There's parking at just over.
Go ahead, Councilor Shetty.
I don't understand how a lot of these questions pertain to the variance that we have on the table right now. Like, we're looking at one thing, that the lot line on the building is going from .85 or .085, whatever, to 83. It's got nothing to do with the culverts, with the driveways, that's all been approved already. And that's all conditions that whoever we're planning has to verify prior to them getting their occupancy permit, so.
Well, I'd like to do something about that if I may.
Make it
Has
brief.
to do with the variance.
Well, the point is.
But that's what we're here for,
I know,
we're in a
but
public hearing.
We're
Sorry, I'm
always
sorry.
cutting it, right? We're coming in for little piece, little piece, little piece every time. It's like cutting up a salami. This is what we're doing. If it all come in at the beginning, if the culverts were in there, or the accesses to this building, everything, the council would have a better view of what's going on. Not like, well, we're only showing you this, we're not gonna do this, and then what are we gonna do? It's already dug, there's gonna be a culvert put in. It has to go in. So, and then they're gonna come back to have it approved. Either the council here or the city of Winnipeg is gonna have to be approving it, because they dug the hole for grade unloading of the trailers or trucks. So it's dug out already. There's not enough room to come in from the side to go into the hole. So anyhow, that's my point. This is what's there. Anybody can look. Anyhow, thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess I can ask the planner, I know we talked about it at the last time about trailers coming too long in this property. So can we have a condition on something like that?
You already put a condition
Okay,
through the
thank you.
development agreement, yeah.
Okay, and all the permits from the city?
To address that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So just like I said, this is, the subdivision is gone through, the
Yeah.
parking has already been discussed, you already put a condition
Yeah.
to address everything, so this is more like reduced lot area tonight.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
a council should just deal with what is before council tonight.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else speaking to Pam? Anyone else registered?
We also have Norma Alberg registered for information.
Okay.
Norma Alden, 312 Evelyn Avenue. I think everything that's been stated tonight has gone over the brunt of it, but I'll state the obvious. And I think that the most important word that I've heard was from Mrs. Link to reflect on this. It is a building that's built, and but at the very beginning, when this subdivision application was presented, it was not approved, as the planner has stated tonight. That was then by the previous planner, now the senior planner with the planning authority. It was suggested that it not be approved because it was not in keeping with the land use intent under the Act, and so that it was increasing the density, making the small lots. The other caution that was given right then by the planner is that this is not a good idea to subdivide two lots and build a building straddling the two, because the obvious will and has happened. So this is sort of a comedy of errors as we follow through, and it's like, oops, we measured this way, and oops, now we forgot that way. And all of these are measurements and they are formalities, and this building will be. But I think if you take each one of these corrections, which were predicted, and you say, well, you can't speak to that because tonight we're speaking to this, you as a council also have to be very careful when you're saying we're picking one part of the property or the plan and not the other, because you may have applications coming to mind that are looking at other small portions of a property. The gun club comes to mind. Anybody's property, if they are looking at their deck versus their shed versus whatever. So all that the citizens want is that there is fairness, and that you take the legislation, you take the Planning Act, the Municipal Act, and that it's applied in a fair manner. If there's a perception that it's not fair, then that creates problems for you that you probably don't need. So I would just say that this should be a lesson learned. If the planner in the future brings forward an application and has suggestions for the council, that those actually be listened to carefully and understand what the implications are. And if some obvious thing is being predicted, you might want to really take that to task and think about it before you move forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No one else registered.
Okay, does, the applicant's not here at all? No? Okay. So I guess then we'll just go in and close the public hearing. Be it resolved that council do hereby close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting of council. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Council Paquette moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None carried. So now we'll go into 5.13, resolution for variance order 123/23. Whereas an application for variance order 123/23 was received for the property located at 8th 3rd Street in the M2 heavy industrial zone to reduce the minimum required size from required 1.377 to 0.95 acres and 0.83 acres. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, the public hearing has been held to hear representation both for and against the application, therefore be it hereby resolved that after careful consideration, Council of the Rural Municipality of Winnipeg, West St. Paul, hereby authorize variance order 123/23 for the following conditions. These variances are limited to what is proposed within this application, and any changes will require a new variance approval. Application owner to obtain all required permits, including but not limited to those from the Red River Planning District and the RM of West St. Paul. Application owner enter into development agreement with the RM of West St. Paul to address servicing if required, or alternate arrangements made to the satisfaction of the municipality. A variance order will expire and cease to have any effect if it is not acted on within 12 months of the date of the decision. A board, council, or planning commission may extend the deadline under subsection 1 of the for an additional period of no longer than 12 months if an application is received before the initial deadline. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Pataka moves, Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any questions, comments? Go ahead. Councilor Pataka.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I mean, this council's been doing a lot of heavy lifting on this particular application. I'm glad to hear the clarification from the planner regarding why this application is before us. It's kind of followed through from the subdivision and application that came earlier this year, or was it earlier this year? Or a couple years ago?
June, yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, and then we dealt with it earlier this year in June with regards to the overall design and things like that, other issues with parking and circulation and whatnot. So it sounds like we're following this process to the T. Just in terms of balance and going back, certainly we had a lot of questions in the beginning. This is an application I think that we inherited. And this particular council is the first time it's dealing with this application. It was it came from the previous council. Personally, I didn't like the way it happened. And we had questions. We called the applicant in here. We got some clarifications. From my vantage point, I thought the applicant did a good job of explaining the situation, for me at least, with a unique design for the building. And the rendering was, I thought, pretty good, pretty top-notch, and creating economic development within the RM, and that's always a good thing, right? It's bringing more taxes in, it's creating employment, and this is exactly what we're here to do. So, but having said that, I think, I certainly welcome the comments from the community in terms of being able to reflect on this, because if we were to do this again, it would certainly take a different course, in my opinion. More questions asked, making sure that there's a lot more planning, a lot more consultation and collaboration. But for the purposes of today's decision on this particular thing, very minute changes from 0.81 to 8.3 or 0.95 to from 0.91. It's just very minor stuff, just to correct lot lines and lot sizes. This is an easy thing to support, but like I say, I do welcome the comments from the community. They're valuable at this point, and helps bring some context. But on balance, this is a good project, I feel, despite the fact that it had a rocky road to get here.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? No. Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? None. Carried. So that one is done. Okay, so now we're going to open the public hearing, right? 5.2. Be it resolved that this meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding a public hearing pursuant to section 105 of the Planning Act. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Shea moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Carried. Okay, can I have the planner proceed?
So the second application tonight is a conditional use application of CU 27-2023. The address is the Meadowland Drive, roll number 28748, 28749, 28751, 28752, and 28722. The intent of this application is to allow an education service, a new school, on the subject property zone RS, serviced residential. This is the conditional use request table. It shows what the subject site is zoned, RS, service residential, and the applicant is proposing a school under the zoning bylaw is considered their education service, which requires a conditional use approval from council. This is the subject site and the surrounding area. And this is the conceptual site design as submitted to RRPD by the applicant. For council's consideration, the intent is to establish a school on the subject property zone RS, service residential. Educational service requires conditional use approval from council. The proposed school is centrally located within the Meadowlands neighborhood, which is consistent with the settlement center policies of the development plan. The proposal also aligns with the emerging residential policies of the secondary plan, which states that community focal points such as school, parks, recreation facilities within easy as walking distance to the neighborhood residents. The proposed use, educational service, is compatible with the surrounding residential development. This is an essential neighborhood amenity that is beneficial to the entire community. Council must determine whether the proposed use is compatible with the general nature of the surrounding area. RRPD is recommending 5 conditions. Conditions of approval, if council wishes to approve this application, including the development agreement. This application was circulated to the municipality and comments have been provided, summarized through the conditions of approval. One of the conditions is that the use be limited to what is being proposed, which means a school, and that any changes to this application will require a new conditional use application. Applicant owner obtains all required permits, including but not limited to the RRPD and the West End Pole. Applicant owner obtains a letter of clearance from Durham West and Paul to ensure that the property is in compliance with the applicable RM's bylaw and the zoning bylaw. Applicant owner enter into a development agreement with the RM of West and Paul to address matters including but not limited to water and wastewater servicing, lot grading, access, public pedestrian pathway from Meadowlands Drive to Addis Avenue, street signage and development standards, including landscaping and buffering. Rosewood Bay and Public Reserve D, Plan 671 be closed and consolidated with roads 28749, 28752, 28751, and 28748. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Council, have any question from the for the planner?
Thank you.
None? No? Okay, is the applicant here? Come forward, please.
Good evening, members of council. My name is Brandon Powell. I'm from Lombard North Group, and I am representing our client, the developer of Meadowlands. With me today, I've got members of the Seven Oaks School Division. I've got Tony Crummell, the interim superintendent, and Jennifer West, the secretary treasurer. Just press left?
Yeah.
Up, down? Okay. Again, we're here today because Riverdale West Developers Inc., the developers of Meadowlands, have entered into a conditional agreement with the Seven Oaks School Division for a new school site development. Educational service uses, including public schools, are considered a conditional use under the RS Service Residential Zoning and the zoning bylaw, which requires approval at the discretion of council. On behalf of the developer, we're here requesting council's approval for new school use in Meadowlands. Just to provide a little context with regard to the location of this proposed school site, on the screen ahead of you, we've got a copy of our master plan. That shaded area in brown in the middle, in the heart of Meadowlands, is the proposed location for the school site. To the left side of your screen is the location of the school site located in Phase 2. Phase 2 is currently fully serviced and paved, and we've got active home building happening in that area right now. As you can see, it's a little bit hard to read, but the location is at the southeast corner of Meadowland Drive, the main collector drive, or roadway, sorry, east-west corridor, and Cowley Street, which is a north-south corridor, effectively providing vehicular access and pedestrian access from east to west and north to south throughout this development. To the right, as you can see, the proposed school site is just shy of 10 acres. It's 9.682 acres in size. On the right side, you can see kind of ghosted underneath is the current state of our subdivision right now. We've got an open roadway and a PR, a public reserve to the right side with it's kind of showing a bit of a north-south pathway connection that are currently impacting this site. So we'll get into some details there in a second here. The proposed site is a great fit. It's centrally located in the community with excellent pedestrian connectivity. It's located along Collector Road, 2 points of access, Meadowlands Drive and Cowley Street. It's located away from the rail line tracks to the east and the snow dump to the south in case of any conflicts with children. And it meets the size requirements of the Seven Oaks School Division. They had a requirement of plus or minus 10 acres for this school site. In terms of the current state of the proposed school site, obviously it's zoned RS. Some time ago, a number of years ago, it was subdivided into block plans, but it was never allotted for housing. As a result of the previous subdivision, a road right-of-way and public reserve lands were created in the area. They're undeveloped currently. This was at a time before we knew or could confirm exactly where the school division wanted to locate within the development. key processes to establish the school site. This one is, it's going to require a couple of steps here involving council. Obviously, we're here for the conditional use today, but we'll also require a road closing bylaw to eliminate that roadway, sort of that horseshoe roadway that you see on the left hand, or on the right hand side, my apologies. And we are also requesting the public reserve closing so that we can attain the required area, site area for the school. Just a bit of a deeper dive here into the consolidation of lands here. Of the 9.68 acres, again, we've got an undeveloped road right-of-way called Rosewood Bay right now, an undeveloped public reserve area resulting in an insufficient amount of land for the proposed school. Further to this conditional use application, the developers will require a road closing bylaw and a public reserve closing bylaw, which I understand has now gone through first reading, to consolidate the lands into a single title so that we can transfer those lands over to the school division. The school division intends on preserving the original intent of the previous planned public reserve and integrate it into its school program. And access is intended to be maintained for all residents. So effectively, it may come off the roster or the inventory of public reserve from the RM, but it will practically be maintained the same way as intended. The school division will take responsibility for developing and maintaining the planned pathway, including the connection, the pathway connection from Addis to Meadowlands, along with landscaping in the area. Meadowlands incorporated an over allocation of public reserve lands throughout its development. Closing the public reserve lands required for the school site will reduce the Meadowlands public reserve dedication across the entire development from approximately 49 acres, or 13% of the gross development area, to just over 47 acres, or around 12.4% of the development area. This change exceeds the RM's public reserve dedication requirement of up to 10% of the land. Again, this was mentioned in FEMI's planning report here. This is a conceptual site plan. Now, this is a footprint that is being contemplated for another school about 5 minutes away in Aurora at Northlands. This is a footprint that the school division likes. It's for an equivalent size school. However, because we're early in the process right now, this could change in terms of orientation, maybe slight differences, but generally speaking, this is sort of the scale and scope of what we're looking at for this particular development. And as you'll note, there are some adjacent lands, residential properties to the south and to the east, which I'll talk a little bit about that in 2 seconds here. Further details regarding the school site: it's going to be a K-8 school with enrollment of about 700 students. It's likely going to be a dual-track English-French immersion school. There'll be 74 spaces available for childcare. There's a full-size gym integrated into the school with, along with band, music, and home ec facilities. Anticipated opening of the school is around September of 2027. However, I understand the school would like to try to squeeze that timeline a little bit tighter if possible. It was originally part of a package of 9 schools being built using the former provincial government's P3 approach. Not sure if that's still at play here, but we'll see. As council knows, when it comes to approving conditional uses, there's 3 requirements that must be met. The first one being compatibility. School uses are generally considered compatible with and are often viewed as community focal points within residential communities. The school site's central location in the residential development places the school in an optimal location to service school-age children in the area. The school site is accessible from 2 paved roadways, including Meadowland Drive, the main collector road, and Cowley Street, offering excellent private vehicle and bus access to and from the site. The proposed school will be connected to the overall pathway and sidewalk system throughout the development, offering non-vehicular options to access the school site. Second requirement is no detrimental effect. The school use will not be detrimental to the health or general welfare of people living, working in the surrounding area, or negatively affect other properties or potential development in the surrounding area. To help minimize any adverse effects to adjacent properties, the developer and Seven Oaks School Division have agreed to the following. The installation of fencing adjacent to existing residential lots. We spoke about the lots to the south and to the east. Establish minimum building setbacks of 50 feet from the adjacent residential uses. This exceeds existing zoning bylaw requirements. The one of probably greatest concern would be to the south, as the lot line to the east is going to have that separation with the former PR area. And the school division will install and maintain landscaping and a pathway for public use in the absorbed public reserve area. And finally, consistency. As mentioned in FEMI's planning report and included in our letter of intent submitted as part of our package for the application, the school uses are generally consistent with the Red River Planning District Development Plan, the Middle Church Secondary Plan, and the RM of West St. Paul zoning bylaw. Thank you.
Councilman, any questions? Councilor Campbell?
A couple questions. So, will the public reserve, now that it's going to be transferred over to the school, I know I think we talked about this last time, is it going to be fenced in and restricted, times, or will all residents still be able to use that area without restrictions?
Yeah, I don't believe there's any restrictions. It will function as originally intended.
Okay. One other question. With the size, with the school, have you have it proposed there, just ballpark, how many square feet is that? Excuse me. It's not a huge deal, I'm just curious what the building is.
If you take a look at, if you're familiar with the Amber Trails scope, it's going to have a similar footprint to that. So don't have the precise square footage.
Okay, so that actually brings up an interesting question. So I know, my kids play sports, and some parents were at, and I don't know the name of the school off the top of my head, it's a new school on Jefferson, closer to Keewatin.
That would be Winnipeg School.
Is that Winnipeg? Okay.
Waterford.
I wasn't, just, there was a volleyball tournament there, and they were just commenting on the poor parking. They couldn't park in the parking lot it was a Friday for the volleyball tournament, and then on the street, there's no parking apparently, so I just want to make sure that the school has adequate parking for tournaments and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so part of our process, recognizing 700 students and understanding the number of staff that would come in.
Yeah.
Within that level, we take that into consideration. And of course, in an overflow, recognizing that there are evening events, such as sports come into that.
Okay. Sounds good, thank you.
Any other questions?
So the green space that you were talking about that was being absorbed and being maintained and developed by the school division, is that green space that you're showing here?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what's the plan in terms of is it just a path, or is it going to be is it going to be like exercise stations? What's the contemplated path here?
The original plan for the development was a pathway connecting Addis to Meadowland Drive, some trees and grass, sod.
Just maybe a look into the future. So will this come back to council for further approvals with regards to the layout of the building, approval of the building, amenities on the path? Or maybe that's for the planner, I'm not sure.
Because, sorry, you go ahead.
The development agreement would have to come back to council for approval, and those details would be listed there.
Okay. Yeah, what I mean is I would like the applicant to come back so that council can actively affect the development agreement. Is that going to happen, or is development agreement going to come back here for us to look at and without the applicant?
typically, that's what we would do.
I would like to see a process where the applicant comes back, that showcases things that we can see and have input on first. That's the process. I see someone nodding over here.
Questions that we have, yep.
So, yeah, so I don't know, I'm not sure, is that, I'll look to the planner or but that's the process I'd like to see, where we have where this council has an opportunity to talk about the layout, the parking, the lighting, the landscaping, all that kind of thing, because we're doing a lot here to make this happen. We're closing streets, we're closing reserve, so.
So I guess I'll ask the planners that when you bring a development, we can say, when you bring it, we want these people to come also, right? We can tell you that at the time, correct? We don't have,
No.
In the audience, we do have the managing director of the development.
Oh, yeah,
I
they
think
can
he
come
wouldn't
on.
mind
Sure.
saying a couple words.
For sure.
okay.
Yeah, anyone from your team who wants to respond can certainly respond.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to your concern about managing the programming for the green space. So as a condition, it's a conditional offer that we have to convey single title to the school division. And a condition of being able to do that is to sign a development agreement. So, which would most likely be signed with the developer, and then we convey title to the school division. So the way the city, I've seen deal with such matters, they have a development agreement, but in the development agreement it states that prior to issuance of a building permit, the school division in this case will have to provide their program and come back to council for approval.
Like site plan approval?
Site plan approval.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're looking for a chance to have feedback into the process before anything's finalized.
Yeah, so we'll, as the developer and the seller, we'll have to be in a position to execute a DA and convey that title. The school division may not be in a position to have the programming for the green space, but prior to the issuance of that building permit, they'll be in a position to share the building elevations, design, and space.
Yeah, I mean, because there was a comment from council here about parking and sufficient parking, and these are all valid things that the community is going to share in terms of its concerns, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident this is going to be a good development. We just want to make sure that we have an opportunity to see it.
Yeah, and just the flow, the sequence of events.
Right.
Just want to make sure it allows us to transfer title.
So-
And Councillor Campbell made a comment about the parking at the Jefferson School site. Actually, we were also the developers that sold that site. That was a smaller site, and the school division there insisted on 7-point-some acres. I don't want to go on record, I don't know exactly the amount. Here, it was almost 2 acres larger to facilitate the needs of the school. That's it.
Councilor Boucher?
If I can just get clarification from our planner, I guess. So with the DA, that would go to the developer to offer that to the school division because it's part of their sale. Would there be a supplementary DA then from the school, with the school and up? I guess not a DA, but something that I guess we would have input with them on the landscaping, that kind of stuff, just, I don't know what we would call it, I'm just trying to figure out a word for that.
Sure, yeah, it could be done through a supplemental agreement that, that we would negotiate with the school district. Or it could be something possibly simpler and just plans come to council and you have to provide your approval before they can get a building permit on those plans.
But by doing that, it actually hinders the developer and the school division finalizing this. None of us are saying we don't want the school there, we just want some input on how it's gonna affect the residents surrounding the area and how it's gonna look in the future, right? So, I don't,
Could we maybe just ask our CAO to work with our with our manager of planning? I'm not sure if the CAO understands what we're asking for, then we could ask him to help find a path for us.
No. Or the CAO working with the school division, just,
Yeah.
I guess, they can understand what we're saying.
We'll leave it with the CAO. I think he understands where we want to go, and just kind of make it happen without creating extra hurdles. So, I mean, there's processes already that are in place with other municipalities where they do that, so we're just looking to have that similar process, similar feedback.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Any other questions? So I guess, I have one question. We talked about parking, but I guess, is there gonna be accommodations made for drop-off traffic? Not that they park on the street and drop their kids off, but they gotta go onto the school property, drop them off, and then proceed out. Is that also?
There's actually two drop-off that we look at. We look at both the school drop-off as well as a dedicated daycare drop-off. So those are both considerations that go into the planning of the site.
And where is the daycare being located? Is that in the school?
I mean, this site is based on where we're building in Aurora at North Point. At this point in time, we obviously don't have approved plans, so we've just used a previous site to give you an example. Siting, parking, drop-offs, bus loops, all would be made specifically to this site plan.
So I guess specifically on the daycare, is it part of the school or is it
It is
separate?
part of the school, yeah.
Oh, it's not a separate building?
It's not a separate building.
Okay, so it'd
It's
be part.
within the school,
It's
yeah.
the same build, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in this particular drawing, the piece that would be coming out at Meadow Drive would be the piece that would be to take care.
All right, yeah, okay.
Just since the mayor brought that up, so kind of like West K where they have the one loop for the daycare, and then there's one loop, I believe it's the bus or drop-off for West Kelowna Collegiate. They say there's two
Yeah.
different,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so it's
All our
completely,
newer-
it's
newer builds
separated, okay.
Have that concept and it works.
Okay.
I have a question for the school division.
Right.
So, because you referenced a school on Templeton, there is several speed humps on that road there. Is that, what was the genesis of that? Is that school division? Is that the city? How
No,
did
that would have been the city.
Okay,
The speed bumps on Templeton is what
Yeah.
what you're referring to.
right, yeah. So that wasn't by the school division?
Yeah, I believe the city had initiated that.
Really? Okay.
Any other questions?
That's good.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'll speak to our planner. Were there any applications wanting to speak for this
Norma Albert is registered in support.
in support? Okay. Are you just registered in support? Do you want to speak or?
Just briefly.
Okay.
Norma Albert, 312 Evelyn Avenue. This is awesome. I think we needed it last year, if not before. And I hope that it's able to move along fairly quickly. Our daughter was in the cohort that was to enter the new West K in grade 9, and they squeaked in April of grade 12. So 2027 is grand. It's like way later than when we need it, but I hope at least it can stay on track for that. Of course, nobody can predict kinks that are gonna come along the way, but I think this is tremendous. And I guess as the development in the residential area around it, considering that recently both of the private schools came back for speed zones, that should be kept in mind as other development is going along the way in these upcoming years, that's kept in mind about just general traffic flow. And the school division certainly knows how to do the safety thing, but sometimes it goes awry, as it did recently in Steinbach. But I think this is tremendous, and it's going to be a great addition.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Any others for?
Eleanor Lincoln support.
Okay.
I have no comments.
Okay.
Also, no one else is registered in support that's in attendance this evening, but we did receive a number of letters, one from Warren Greenspoon, Goldie Gooman, George Howell, Jerry Mawini, Matthew Yan, Jeff Johnner, Jason Jaquette, Patricia Lacey, Kuljit Gooman, and Narinder Sharma.
They were for, or?
All
Support.
registered in support, yes.
In support, okay. Is there someone else here for support?
No, I came in late, so I wasn't able to get my name on the list, so when you're doing the other half of this presentation, I want to get my name on the list.
Can we still sign up?
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yes, okay.
You'll get a
Just give
chance.
the planner your name.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so go ahead. Anyone else?
No one else registered in support.
And against?
We don't have anyone registered as in opposition.
Okay, did you want to, did you
Yeah,
want to speak
give my
against?
Yeah,
Yes,
you-
Yeah,
go
just
ahead.
come to the microphone, give your name and address.
No,
No, you gotta
come
come,
up
you
here.
gotta come to the microphone.
You guys. It's, sorry. I'm waiting for knee surgery, so.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
all good.
excuse me.
No worries.
Like Trump does. Okay.
So your
My
name?
name is Zenon Hlushuk. I'm a resident of 800 Addis Avenue. Basically, this structure is going to go in front of me. In front of that, between me and the school, will be a row of housing that's going to look like a Berlin Wall for me, because it's going to be two-story buildings that create across. But my concern here is the fact that Addis already has become a freeway. And basically what has happened is the development to the east by the railway tracks, you have this fine connector road, but that connector road doesn't do anything because the people that live in that area are all going to Garden City. They're not worried about Main Street, they're going to Garden City, so they're zipping down Addis Avenue. And I am concerned about the traffic flow with regards to the school, because I'm curious to know, you're talking about 700 pupils. So do I understand that you're anticipating all 700 are coming from this development and future development? Or is the school division looking at busing in kids from beyond this development?
Okay, do you have more questions? Because we asked all the questions now and then we'll answer them all afterwards. So you had one about question
Yeah,
about?
so basically, the issue I have is the traffic flow. I'm concerned about, as some of the previous people have mentioned, including the developer, about you having a situation where you have events in the evening where these people are going to be parking,
Okay.
because I'm assuming they're going to be parking on the streets, because there's definitely going to be overflow parking. Okay, and the streets are not, anybody that drives down these streets will see that the houses are now developed. Developers in Canada have made everything so the houses have all their parking right in front, and any parking they don't, because everybody's got 4 cars or 4 vehicles, they park on the street. So these people are going to be parking on the street, and then, the school people that are coming there are also going to be looking for parking, and I'm concerned of how am I going to be able to use that street, getting in and out.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to be the main event here, but these are the major concerns of myself and a number of people on that street.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yes.
Thank you,
Right.
Raj.
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Any others for objection?
No one else registered against. For information, we have Jerry Belinky.
Okay.
Jerry Blanky, 354 Garden View Drive. I'm in favor of a school. Just don't know this one or in there. But anyhow, if somebody can give me some answers of approximately how many classrooms are going to be there, and I know the building isn't built, so they don't know. But why I'm wondering how many classes, the size of this, so we know sort of how many teachers will be there, so we know how many parking stalls for teachers and how many students. And also, if I could get a sort of an age of the students, are they going to be like, grade 4 or 5? Are they going to be high school, or what age of the students are going to be?
Okay.
Okay.
Said K to 8 on the presentation.
Oh, okay, didn't see it. Why I'm wondering about that is because if we can get that picture of that view from this, of the site, the larger one of the first views, if we can get that up there. Not that one. Okay, even that one there. Is that blue a lake?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Where it says like,
I'm concerned because the school and a lake and kids. That's my concern. That's why I was asking the age of the children or students or whatever is there. Also, the daycare is good, we need that. But the gym and the other activities, the hours of operation, we need to know that ahead of time because residents are being impacted here, and as hearing from this fellow here, they are being impacted, I've seen that. Also, the amount of bus traffic, is the bus traffic going to be coming up Rossmore or how? Because it's going to, I don't know where their students are coming from. Are the students coming more from the north part of the developments in West St. Paul, or will they be coming like where the traffic will be coming? That's what I'm trying to interest of, because it's going to impact the people there. And one thing is not mentioned here is that, I know we have all these roads, but the service road on the perimeter, on the south side, will be closed. So it's open there right now, but it will be closed. So that's gonna, there's a lot of traffic going around that way there, but that road will be closed. So that should be in consideration when we're thinking about this, how this traffic is gonna be moved around. I know there'll be, I don't know how many buses will be coming, but students will be coming on buses. But what I see a lot going to the schools is the parents are dropping them off. There's a long line of cars coming. So I understand they said they're gonna have a road cut for the buses to park, but usually they have a road cut for the buses and then no parking for the drop off for the cars. So we have to have room for the cars because it's gonna be, especially in bad weather. So those are the things I support this, but these are critical for especially that lake. I don't know, you know, water and kids is just a magnet, so that's something that really bothers me. And the school traffic, the school bus traffic, because I mean, people have been there for years already on Addis, and there's nice big large homes, big lots. They're in their retirement ages, they're happy. Now they're going to be challenged.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you. Anyone else?
We only have, pardon me, Debbie and John signed in, but not registered for, against, or for information.
just for information.
Okay.
I'm not registered, but I'd like to see a couple comments if I may, please.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Are
Just
you
go to the microphone.
For, against, or?
For,
For?
yes,
Are you for? Okay.
Just fix the mic if you want.
Sure.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Okay. Wayne Holloway from 255 Minnehaha Avenue. Two comments. I'm for new development happening there for the school. Is two comments I would like to make note of, and if we can address, please. One of them is there is sidewalks and trails within the new development, but I think council should actually take a look at the existing development to the south of that on Addis and Rossmere, because both of those have a lot of residents walking on the roadways. So if there's going to be increased traffic for both buses and vehicles, I do a daily run with my dogs down Rossmere, and almost on a nightly, I pass 3 or 4 other people walking dogs too. So during the daytime it would be the same thing too. So that's one of the things I'd like the council to take a look at, is looking at some trail development on Rossmore and Addis for the residents there, getting connected over to the new development for the school. The second comment I would like to make note of is I live on Minnehaha, which is right beside the West St. Paul School on Highway 9, Main Street. And Councillor Campbell had made note about like a volleyball tournament at some of the school sites. I quite often, where I reside, quite often see that at the West St. Paul School, K-8, for Christmas concerts, that Highway 9 is packed on both sides in the side roads, so that might occur the same thing here too. So we have to make sure we address that for parking space-wise, not only for tournaments, but also for concerts and graduations and everything else from that school. And another note too, West St. Paul School has made allocation on their side parking lot for parents picking up their students after school and dropping them off. And that parking spot roughly holds about 25 vehicles. So if that school's off at 2:30 every day, at about 2:15, you already see 25 vehicles pulled into the school lot, and you see probably another 10 to 15 on the side of the highway waiting to pick up their kids from K to 8. So I think we should address that also for the new school too, as part of the development agreement, to include enough spacing for parents picking up. If there's going to be 2 road approaches, one for the daycare and one for the K to 8, I think we should have some allocation for parents also picking up their students in addition to the school buses.
Okay.
Those are the 2 comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else? No? Okay, I guess maybe I can have the applicant come forward again and speak to those questions that were asked.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Some of the school-related questions are probably best addressed by.
No, I agree. There seems to be, there's going to be a mix here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just made a couple of notes on the
Yep.
concerns that came forward, but I want to assure everybody in attendance that, of course, we want to be good neighbors and serve the community. And we know with recognizing the schools in the vicinity, West St. Paul to the north and Riverbend, Edmund Partridge and East Soms, that is serving this community right now, they're at a tipping point. I don't think I need to convince anybody, most of you in this room, that a school is required and it's going to serve this area well. But we want to be those good neighbors. Question about how old are the students, number of staff. I'll approach those right now. So it's a K to 8 school. We're looking at 700 students at our current staffing levels. So that's teaching staff and support staff that would come in at about 85 staff. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean that there are 85 people showing up with cars. As part of our planning, there is intentional planning around parking, recognizing the number of staff that we have, but also being good neighbors on this also, and so that there's an overflow parking piece that comes into play. And I'll be clear, when there are big events that bring the entire school together, one of the things that we focus on is active transportation. And within a new community like this, our understanding is that a majority of folks, not all, are going to be within that 1.6 kilometer piece. So, as part of our education, whether it's an evening event or otherwise, is taking a look at that active transportation for that health piece, but also the environmental piece of cars and the practical piece of traffic within the schools. So we do work on those things. In terms of, I believe that there was a question on, what is this facility going to bring? And note that I can't give you the exact number of classrooms at this point, but I'll note, we look for a classroom size of approximately 24. So if we take the 700 students divided by the 24, we'll bring you to that number. But we also look at there being a dance facility within this, an industrial arts facility, which will include cooking spaces and woods labs. Also come with a full-size gym and fitness center as well. So just wanted to make those points. And there was the comment about the lake, and we have several schools, in Seven Oaks School Division that are in communities that have the lakes, and we're certainly aware of that. And we do supervise children when they have those breaks outside, and it works. Yeah.
So I guess, could you just repeat what's your area the school's going to cover, bringing kids in from where? How big of an area? What's the boundaries for your school?
We don't have the
Roughly.
well-defined boundaries at this point. I'll just, say south of the perimeter.
South, okay.
Yeah. And that north of the perimeter, that would still be going to the West St. Paul area.
So
And I don't have the dividing line for you
Oh, okay.
in terms of what starts to push to Riverbend, ERR, and so on, and Edmund Partridge.
Oh, okay, so those are the schools that are,
Yeah.
And Aurora.
Correct, and that, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Okay, I'll let you continue. Is that it?
Yeah.
All the questions?
So maybe just before the mayor reads the resolution or closes the public hearing, just want to hear back from our administration, the points regarding coming back for plan approval.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll establish a process to make sure that there's an opportunity for council to hear from the applicant in terms of the details around the school itself and provide input and feedback on that.
Okay.
Can I just make a comment? So would it be the RM with the applicant or this RM with the school division? Because the way
Well-
it sounds to me is that the RM right now is working with the applicant to approve this, to finalize the sale with the school division, and then the school division would be taking over the plans to finish it. So it would be the school division working with the RM
Yes,
to kind of make like a cohesive picture that looks like it all fits together.
yes. At this point in time, we'll work with the applicant and ultimately the school division to make sure that process is unfolded.
Thank you.
Okay. So then if there isn't any other, anyone else wants to speak? None?
Oh, we, yeah.
You've already had your turn, so.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Do? No? Okay then. So then I'll close the public hearing. Be it resolved that the council do hereby close the public hearing and resume the regular meeting of council. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Bichetti moves, Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? See none, carried. Okay. So now we'll go to the resolution. Whereas the applicant has applied for conditional use 2723 to permit an education service new school on land located on Meadowlands Drive, identified as rules 28748, 28749, 28751, 28752, and 28722 in the SS Service Residential Zone. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representations for and or against the conditional use application. Now therefore be it resolved that the Real Municipality of West St. Paul approve conditional use 27/23 under the following conditions. That conditional use approval be limited to what is proposed within the application. Any changes in use or expansion will require a new conditional use approval. Applicant owner obtains all required permits and approvals, including but not limited to those from the Red River Planning District and the RM of West St. Paul. Applicant owner obtain a letter of clearance from the RM of West St. Paul to ensure that the property is in compliance with applicable RM bylaws, including the zoning bylaw. Applicant owner enter into a development agreement with the RM of West St. Paul to address matters including but not limited to water and wastewater servicing, lot grading, access, public pedestrian pathways from Meadowlands Drive to Addis Avenue, street signage and development standards including landscaping and buffering, that Rosewood Bay and Public Reserve B Plan 68671 be closed and consolidated with the rolls 28749, 28752, 28751, and 28748. The approval of a conditional use will expire and cease to have any effect if it is not acted upon within 12 months. Excuse me, I'm just wondering if I could just get you to calm. Thank you. if not acted to upon within 12 months of date of the decision. A board, council, or planning commission may extend the deadline under subsection 110, parenthesis 1, for an additional period no longer than 12 months if an application is received before the initial deadline, and for a second period of no more than 12 months if an application is received before the expiry of the first extension. Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Shetty moves. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any questions, comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Councilor Paquette.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just want to thank the applicant, Lombard North, and their client, the school division, for bringing this forward, and of course, the Riverdale West developers as well for their part in this. And I think it'll be a good project. I think this council is going to be supportive of the conditional use, and happy to hear also our CAO representing the administration is going to develop a process that allows us to have some council input in terms of how this project unfolds, and so that is definitely good news, and I want to wish the parties well on this process.
Anyone else? Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Unless you want to stick around, of course. Yeah, okay. See you again.
Yep. Want to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, take a 2-minute recess. Yeah.
We'll have a 2-minute
Okay.
recess.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we'll start off with going down to 7.1, regular meeting of October 26th, approving the minutes. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on October 26th be approved. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Campbell moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor
I'll second.
Patcan seconds it. Any questions, comments on it? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. We go down to 7.2, border revisions. Be it resolved that the minutes of the 2024 border revisions held on November 1st, 2023 be approved and presented. Can I have a mover for that, please? Councilor Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second it.
Councilor
Yeah.
Patcan seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, carried. Now we're going down to number 9. And it is recommended that we gonna be, like to table this hearing for now, waiting for the RM, due to the, waiting for the municipal relations on funding options. We're not quite clear on what all our options are, and we would therefore just like to table this meeting to another date, or this public hearing, first reading to another date, I should say. So is everyone in favor of that on council here?
Do we need a motion?
I'll move it,
You move it, okay? Councilor moves it,
I'll second.
Council Cabinet seconds it.
but I don't think we should put a date, right? Because we're waiting for confirmation from people and we're getting kind of.
Yep.
Yes, that's correct.
Maybe you can
One-
see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, once we have feedback from municipal relations in terms of what sort of options we can consider on the proposal itself, then we'll be in a position to make a fully informed decision on first reading. So I'd recommend tabling it until that information is available,
Okay.
which will hopefully be forthcoming in the near future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Can I have a,
Wait, you have a mover second.
you move a second, okay?
Yeah, we have it.
And call for, who moved it?
It was
I moved
Council.
You moved it?
Council Campbell.
Second it?
Council
Okay,
Campbell.
good, thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments? Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing any opposed? None, carried. Okay, so now we go down to 10. What's next here?
Or 10.
10? 10, accounts, just received for information. I don't know if anyone has any questions on the accounts that is there.
Well,
Councilor Campbell, you got questions?
I do, is this, I can't remember, check number 45693. do we own, like, it shows that we're renting a copier? Like, do we not own our copier right out, we rent it? Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's a question, okay. We
Yeah,
can-
that was, I was just curious as to, like, the company that I work for, we do that as well. I just don't know the benefits versus, you know, because it's, I can't remember the dollar, I didn't write down the dollar amount here, I
No.
have it right in front of me, but, I just find that, I'm sure we photocopy a lot, but I just can't see us using, you know, outdating a copier before we would have it paid for, so.
Yeah, I think sometimes copiers, they have a user fee on them. I'm not sure, I think that's agreement on some of them, but I guess we'll have, you can maybe respond to another date.
Yeah, what I can do is I can,
Yeah,
get some
I'm
detail
just
on that
curious.
for
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
back to you.
There, just, I'm gonna comment, cause I was
Yeah.
here, I guess, when we went, there was a whole report on
Okay.
the pros and, like, the, why we rent rather than purchase, and this seems to be the most feasible, keeping the equipment up to date and everything like that,
Oh,
so.
so you think it's for renting? And
Yeah,
that's for
yeah,
you?
it's renting.
Okay,
With the maintenance and toner, there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole
Program.
bunch
Okay.
of stuff that
Yeah.
goes with it.
yeah. And they go by usage of paper, I guess, right?
Yeah,
That's how they determine?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get it confirmed.
yeah.
Okay, number 11, payroll monthly statements. Be it resolved that the payroll for the month of October as follows be approved as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move
Councilor
it, Mr. Mayor.
Pat moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Monthly financial statements, 12.1. Be it resolved that the RM of West St. Paul approve the financial statements for the period ending September 30th, 2023. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move it, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Patca moves. Could I have a seconder? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Anyone have any other questions, further questions on it? None? Okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Now we got the CAO's report. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the CAO's report as information. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Council Pat moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor
Second.
Campbell seconds it. Does anyone have any questions on the report? On all the reports, I guess? Council's report? Animal control, nothing?
Oh,
Okay.
do I need to do anything here?
No, I think, does
Been
anyone have
added.
any questions on the Council Pat Can's report? I believe it's added in.
It's added.
It'll be added into the minutes.
Yes.
Okay. So any, let's see, where am I here? I think I'm missing something. Okay, oh yes, okay, can I call for the vote, please?
Sorry, can I just say a few
Sure.
words? Yeah, just thank you to the our CAO for coming in. I know there's been a lot of work with regards to, before the snow flew, about completing the roads, and I was really happy to see that the roads received some positive feedback from residents regarding the intersections at Highway number 9 and Jackman, Willis, and Northumberland. So thank you very much, Mr. CAO, for making sure that was done and completed before the snow flew. That was much appreciated, so thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried? Okay, so now we're down to 14, I believe, right? Yes, 14. Be it resolved that the Council of Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the miscellaneous correspondence for the month of October as information. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Pat moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any questions on the information? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. 14.2, Ground and Public Safety Communications Center. Could I, received as information? Going to ask if you guys have any questions on it. None? Okay. We'll go on to number 15.1. Miscellaneous meeting dates. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul authorize attendance at the following meetings. We have them down here, October 5th, there's two October 5th meetings, one on October 6th, October 13th, 23rd, and 27th. Got any comments, questions on them? Go ahead, Councilor
Well, I
Bichetti.
guess we need a mover in a second here first, right?
I didn't ask for that. Oh, yes, okay, right. Can I have a mover, please? You're right.
I'll move.
Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second
Councilor
it.
Pat Can seconds it. Any comments?
Just a comment.
Yep.
The PTH 101 function design, I think we just put all of council. Isn't there more than just the three of us?
No, I wasn't able to make that one.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
Oh, yeah. I was out of town.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought there was four of us here. So.
Yeah, no. Okay, any other questions? Okay, carried. Can I call for the vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None, carried. Now we're down to 15.2, the 1990 Ford fire pumper truck. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul deem the 1990 Ford F500 fire truck as surplus, and further be it resolved that the West St. Paul Fire Department Fire Chief is permitted to post the 1990 Ford F500 fire pumper on government website, Government Deals, an auction site that specializes in selling used government items and vehicles. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Council Pack moves it. Can I have a seconder? Councilman?
I'll second.
Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any comments, questions, discussions?
Yes, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
go ahead, Councilor Campbell.
Yeah, I believe we talked about this the other night. I'm not in favor of just throwing it up on auction yet. I'd be more agreeable to advertising it. There's lots of free advertising sites for all across Canada where I think we could probably get a better dollar from a community locally, in the province or within 500, 800 kilometers than just putting it up on the government auction site. As Councillor Pactican had indicated the other day, there was another one on there, so we have a good, baseline, I think, for what we should or shouldn't get for it. And I think if we put it up for sale with some sort of, pricing or whatever, I think that would be prudent to do that first.
Yes.
Just
Perfect timing.
Boy, you know when to come. Okay, did you want to ask any questions?
Well, now that the chief's here, I can ask him a question.
Happy to answer.
So there was just a concern, well, we just had a thought piece that, is this the best course of action? Is it possible that pursuing perhaps other, Councilor Campbell said it best. Other avenues in terms of like it could be posted to other municipalities, getting a better deal. I mean, I was just on there the other day. It looked like there was one about 1996 was going for 11,000 with 8 bids on it. Like, is this? What do you think? I see your recommendations to go to govdeals.ca, but are there other avenues?
Well, of course, we could just advertise it somehow, website, social media here locally, maybe newspapers, but really it's only going to hit the local market. The websites go across Canada and potentially North America. So if there are small little fire departments or other individuals looking for a type of a truck like this, that I think we hit a broader market. It's my understanding, I didn't see it, but I don't believe there's any seller fees, there's buyer fees using a site like this. We've used it once before when we sold our old Rescue, and it worked well. We tried the local advertisement, surplus sale locally. We never got any bids on our old Rescue, so we're just going by practice. And then we ended up listing on this site that we were able to sell it off. You gotta remember the truck's almost 34 years old. It's past its relative operational frontline lifespan. So it's going to be a very, if it goes back into the fire service, it's going to be a very unique, very limited market. I don't know who would be pursuing a 34-year-old fire truck, to purchase. That being said, it is currently passed its mantle of safety. It's passed a pump test this year that we ensured that it was obviously operational until our newest truck came online. But that said, to keep it around, to maintain it, just pump test safety and insurance, we were looking at nearly $10,000. Because that's what we paid.
Like annually?
annually.
Oh,
Our
okay.
insurance cost is almost $7,500 to keep that truck. Not the MPI, but the municipal liability replacement cost of it, according to Crystal, the numbers I got today.
Can I just ask the chief, how many kilometers and what would you classify the, first of all, tell us the kilometers and what would you classify the condition of the engine? Is it pristine? Is it?
Kilometer-wise, because it's a fire truck and local, I don't know the number up, but I'm gonna guess 20 to 25,000 kilometers. It's not a huge number for a 34-year-old truck, but remember, our radius that we responded. But it would be hours on the engine, because when it's at a scene, it's the engine's working. It's obviously the wheels aren't turning, so there's no kilometers being gathered, and unfortunately, there's no hour meter. There was never an hour meter installed in this truck, so we're not able to track gallons. Common for that vintage of a vehicle.
Councilor Shannon?
So, is there a way to put a reserve on this site?
Yeah, and that's what we did with our rescue.
Okay, so what kind of reserve are you looking at putting a piece of equipment like this?
I looked at, Councilor Paquin looked today, there was a similar piece of equipment on it about, current bid about 5,000, hadn't met the reserve. My initial thought process would be around the 5,000 to 6,000 reserve. We have to be realistic, it's not worth tens of thousands of dollars.
But at the same time, we have to look at, there might be other smaller communities, as you said.
Absolutely.
That are not, I guess, fortunate that we got another piece of equipment, where if we would have got another piece of equipment coming in next year, this thing would have been still up in service. Not like the previous rescue that we had to get rid of because of, the safe conditions with the frame. This thing was still fully in service.
And the rescue, it was just a replacement, it was the tanker.
Oh, the tanker, yeah, I knew one of them, sorry.
Yeah, no,
That's what I'm
understandable.
calling. But it's not like that situation where we had the emergency replacement of that.
Right.
This was still in use and would have still been if it would have been another year to get our equipment. So there are, smaller communities, northern communities, whatever we want to be, that might be looking at something like this.
And if, just thinking aloud, if we declare it surplus and we go through the surplus process, why can't we advertise it and direct everyone to the site? If there's interest, they're more than entitled to bid on it, and the site sort of takes control of all that. It's an open, fair process, everyone's welcome to bid on it. It's open, it's transparent, we're not hiding anything.
I feel like there was, sorry, I thought you were pointing.
Go ahead.
I was thinking that the reserve's a little low, because looking on that, I looked on it also, I think there was one in the, already at the $11,000 range. We've already spent the 10 this year between the pump certification and the safety. So really, it is a registerable vehicle, right at, if someone wants to get it from us, it's ready for service.
Yep.
So.
I'm glad I'm open to any suggestions for a reserve. If you want to put 10K on it, sure.
Yes, just to cut, that was one of my questions here. When does the current insurance run out, the pump safety, certification, just so that we know that, if we have it advertised for a month or we only have 2 weeks to, to sort of still say, hey, current pump tests or.
Pump test was done in May, or probably beginning of May of this year. Safety would have been done in May as well.
Okay, so one final question. How much was the invoice or work done in May for the safety?
$1,081.
Okay.
Pump test was 1,002. We had to replace a gauge, that was another 600, and our insurance costs were $74.39.
That's crazy insurance cost.
That's a lot of liability.
It's liability and potentially replacement cost on the apparatus.
Any other question? So if it goes on this government site, you mentioned something about advertising, so you would advertise that it's to go to this site?
Yeah, I believe we could, definitely the RM could declare it surplus. We could do just like we would if we were having a local surplus sale, we could advertise that the truck is available, it can be viewed here. If there's local folks, you can direct them to the site to enter bids.
Oh, okay.
Handling it locally, right?
Yeah. Put our email blast out to the residents.
Sorry, is there, I don't know if we can find out, is there anything through AMM or anything like that that, you know, advertises out to the communities, to all RMs, like they're?
I'll
Yeah.
leave that to you guys. Been chiefing for 20 years. I've never seen used local apparatus come by my, via email or any sort of newsletters. Manitoba Fire Chiefs Association doesn't really have an equipment website or used equipment for sale there. It's not very popular to buy, 30-plus-year-old equipment. NFPA standards, risk liabilities is all factoring. Most communities aren't, wanting or willing to take that risk to bring something like that.
So from what I understand, you're saying that because the equipment is redundant now because of our new pumper, it makes more sense just to get rid of it for whatever value we can get because it's costing more in the long run to keep it around. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. And like any piece of equipment, if it's just going to sit and never turn a wheel, and
Okay.
a year from now, a truck goes in for service for a couple of days, and to bring it back to standard operate, it's probably,
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
does
Thanks, Chief.
you guys know what you want to do, or do we?
Yeah, we got a motion. We can talk about it
Yeah.
and make a decision.
How do you guys want to proceed?
Or I can speak to it.
Go ahead.
Is it moved and seconded already? I can't remember.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I want to thank the chief for his comments. I think that, I think I understand the issue. I think the chief's willing to work with us. I think he said things that I'm happy to hear, which is regarding, the www.govdeals.ca is the reputable website. It's got a good catchment area, wide and broad, and we can direct people. We have resources here where we can direct people to look at that site, and they'll look at the GovDeals will handle all the rest. And I was surprised to learn how much this would cost the RM if we were to hold on to it for any period of time because of the insurance and regulations regarding certification and whatnot. So it does make sense that we just offload it and get whatever we can and just save the expense of the taxpayers of holding on to it. So I'm supportive of the motion or the resolution.
Councilor Shetty?
I'm good with it now that I know that there's at least some kind of reserve on there. Just to offer it out to see if there is anything out there, and like you said, directing them to this website. If there is other communities that, you're in touch with other chiefs that way, but also at the RM level to see if AMM has anything that, advertises anything like that through all the communities across Manitoba.
So are you wanting a reserve on this?
Well, he said there is a $5,000 reserve.
We set the reserve whatever we choose.
He doesn't have one, so he's,
Well,
that's how I'm
I'd like
saying.
to see at least a
Oh, you do?
$5,000
Okay.
reserve, so at least, it takes care of the certification
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
had done in May.
Yeah.
It is a vehicle that they would be able to put directly into service, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. So then, how do we add that in? Do we just put that into our resolution?
It's understood. I think the chief understands this fact.
Okay.
Unless you really want to put it in.
Okay, then we'll just call for the vote. Anyone got any more questions? Okay,
No.
can we call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Carried?
Thank you, chief.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
So were you watching us on camera or something that you came in just in
I have a
time?
little bit of insight.
Oh, that's why.
Night.
Okay, so next is, we're going in camera. Be it resolved that in accordance with section 152(3) of the Municipal Act, Council does now move in camera to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting with discussions in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiation. And be it further resolved that in accordance with section 83, 1D of the Municipal Act, all issues that are discussed are kept confidential unless discussed at a regular meeting of council. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Paquette moves, Councilor Bichetti seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussions? None? Carried. Okay, so we discussed a supplemental agreement and development agreement in our camera session, and now we're going to be adjourning the meeting. The meeting is, be it resolved that this meeting of council stand adjourned at 8:25 PM on Thursday evening. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Pichetti moves. Can I have a seconder?
A second?
Councilor Campbell seconds it. Can I have any comments, questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried.